Well, right now at noon, communities across southern Wisconsin are preparing for flooding, and there are ways for you to help. And it's sentencing day for President Trump's former campaign chair. How long Paul Manafort will spend in prison between his conviction in Virginia and now in D.C. Plus, more celebrities and CEOs are set to turn themselves in what the FBI is calling the biggest college admission bribe in history.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now at noon.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Mark Kane. Parts of southern Wisconsin are currently under a flood watch. Crews are out in the city of Madison to try and prevent street flooding this week. They're working to keep up with the 20,000 inlets across the city and hope you can help. If you see any of them that can be safely cleared by yourself, you're asked to do so. Obviously, it is hard to prevent all flooding, so if you do see a flooded street, don't drive through it. Crews say you never know what condition the road is underneath the water. The rising water can also cause your car to stall out, damaging your car and leaving you in a tough situation. And some roads in Lafayette County already closed because of high water. Here's a look at some of the current closures. The river in Darlington is expected to crest at 14.9 feet, and the bridge there has to be closed once the river reaches 15 feet. Let's head over to the Weather Center now. Meteorologist Dave Caulfield is keeping an eye on the flooding for us. What's the latest, Dave?
Well, it's going to be close on a couple of those local rivers, Mark, because not only do we have about a half an inch of rain still on the way for some of us, but the water has nowhere to go because the ground's still pretty well frozen, and this snow is melting quickly across southern Wisconsin. About 3 to, in some cases, 6 inches of snow still on the ground as of last night. So on Doppler track, we could see the next round of rain still off to the west, but we still could have some rounds of showery activity by the time we get to later this afternoon. We've been dealing with some dense fog all morning. I do think that situation will improve over the next few hours, but still we have some visibilities less than a quarter of a mile closer to Mineral Point and Platteville, up to a half-mile visibility right now. Remember, turn on those headlights and take it slow out there in that fog. Temperatures are near 40 in Madison, in the lower 40s in Mineral Point, and the mid-40s in Janesville. Wind speeds not too bad right now, but it will be a blustery couple of days for southern Wisconsin. Temperatures rising quickly through the 40s this afternoon into the lower 50s, so those temperatures are remaining warm. We'll talk more about what that will do to the flooding situation over the next few days in your first alert forecast in just a few minutes.
This is quite a storm.
Yes, it's not really affecting us all that much with the rain or snow, but it will affect us with the flooding down the road.
Calling it a bomb cyclone, is that right?
Yes.
Okay, it doesn't sound good.
No, it does not.
Happy birthday, by the way.
Oh, thank you very much.
With all that going on?
Yeah, it's great.
All right, we'll see you in a few minutes. A funeral is underway for the sheriff's deputy killed trying to serve an arrest warrant. McHenry County Sheriff Deputy Jacob Keltner was shot last Thursday at a hotel in Rockford. Deputy Keltner was assisting the U.S. Marshals Fugitive Task Force as they tried to serve a warrant for 39-year-old Floyd Brown. He was eventually taken into custody a few hours later. Deputy Keltner was 35 years old. He had spent 12 years with the McHenry County Sheriff's Department. He leaves behind a wife and 2 young boys. Media will help them find a little girl at the center of an Amber Alert case. The alert is for 2-year-old Neilani Robinson. Her father is accused of killing her mother and kidnapping her Monday night. That's him in the photo, 35-year-old Darius Higgins. A criminal complaint says 24-year-old Sierra Robinson was in Milwaukee to pick up her daughter from Higgins. Higgins reportedly drove up without Neilani, that is, and shot at Robinson and her friend, killing Robinson and injuring the other woman. Higgins is still considered armed and dangerous. President Trump's former campaign chair, Paul Manafort, is headed to prison for a while. He was sentenced to 73 months in federal court in D.C. this morning after pleading guilty to 2 counts of conspiracy charges. This is on top of the 47 months he was sentenced to last week in Virginia for bank and tax fraud charges. Altogether, he'll serve 7.5 years between the 2 cases. He may be able to avoid the full length of his prison term if President Trump decides to grant him a pardon. None of Manafort's crimes are related to work he did on President Trump's 2016 election campaign. The highest-ranking member of the Catholic Church to be convicted of child sex abuse has been sentenced to 6 years in prison for molesting 2 choir boys. A jury found Australian Cardinal George Pell guilty of abusing the 13-year-olds in a Melbourne cathedral in the 1990s. The 77-year-old denies the allegations. Protesters outside the Australian court said sentencing was not harsh enough. Pell faced up to 50 years behind bars. Actress Lori Loughlin is expected to turn herself into authorities today. She is one of dozens of wealthy parents who are facing criminal charges for allegedly trying to cheat or bribe their children's way into elite colleges. Chris Martinez has more.
With the man at the center of a massive college bribery scandal cooperating with authorities, more fallout is expected in the weeks and months ahead. College admissions consultant William Singer pled guilty Tuesday. Prosecutors say wealthy parents paid him millions to guarantee their children got into top colleges.
All of them knowingly conspired with Singer and others to help their children either cheat on the SAT or ACT and or buy their children's admission to elite schools through fraud.
The 33 parents named in the indictment are accused of paying an estimated $25 million in bribes. Among them, Desperate Housewives star Felicity Huffman, who allegedly paid $15,000 so a test administrator could boost her daughter's college entrance exam score. Her husband, actor William H. Macy, was in court with her as she was charged with conspiracy and posted a $250,000 bond. Full House star Lori Loughlin is also facing conspiracy charges. She and her husband allegedly paid $500,000 to have their 2 daughters labeled as recruits to the USC crew team, even though neither played the sport.
I think the parents are facing serious time, and perhaps what I mean by that is prison time.
They could go to jail for this?
We're talking to parents.
Yeah.
On CBS This Morning, legal analyst Ricky Kleeman discussed the possible consequences for the parents.
People are so angry all over the country about this case.
Yeah.
So the parents need to be punished severely in order for there to be deterrence.
Prosecutors say there isn't a separate college admission system for the wealthy, and there won't be a separate criminal justice system either. Chris Martinez, CBS News, Los Angeles.
At least 9 athletic coaches were also charged, but no students were. Prosecutors say in many cases the students were unaware because parents wanted them to think they were admitted on their own merit. There's more to come on News 3 Now at noon. Up next, we'll see what Howard's working on in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
With spring right around the corner, we've got a dish that'll have you ready to welcome it with open arms. Just wait till you see how easy it is to make. Do you realize that spring officially starts next week? That means it's time to put away those warm-you-up recipes and start thinking of dishes that are lighter and brighter. To get you going, we're sharing the perfect springtime side dish. To give this its springy feel, we begin by sauteing some diced zucchini, carrots, peppers, and onions in some butter in a skillet. Once they start getting tender, we add a package of frozen peas, or as some folks call them, spring peas, along with a couple of cups of water and a little salt and pepper. After it boils, we remove it from the heat and add in couscous. If you're not familiar with couscous, it's a type of tiny pasta that's light and fluffy, which makes it perfect for this time of year. Okay, now we'll cover this and let it sit for 5 minutes. Then we'll fluff it with a fork before serving it. There you have it, a new way to brighten up your table after a long winter. It's packed with veggies. It's super tasty, and the best part, it's done in one pan. To get the recipe for our spring vegetable couscous, all you have to do is go online. I'm Howard in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, where today we found a simple springtime way for you to say, ooh, it's so good.
All right, Howard, thank you. Flooding is possible over the next few days. We'll get another check of your first alert forecast when we come back. Well, Airbnb is looking to expand its service, and a new survey lists which cities have the most aggressive drivers. Here's Diane King Hall with today's Money Watch report.
A shakeup in the C-suite at Rite Aid. The drugstore chain announced it is axing its CEO, COO, and CFO. The ousting of its top 3 executives comes amid investor pressure following poor results. Rite Aid will also be slashing 400 corporate jobs amid the broad shakeup. Claire's is issuing a recall of some makeup products after the government says they tested positive for asbestos. The makeup in question, it's eyeshadows, compact powder, and contour palette. The FDA says consumers who have the products should stop using them and return them for a refund. Airbnb announced it has acquired last-minute booking service Hotel Tonight. The partnership will allow guests to snag deals on discounted rooms in boutique hotels on short notice. Airbnb also says the partnership will help with same-day bookings, which are doubling each year. And the cities with the most aggressive drivers in the nation might surprise you. According to Gas Buddy, Los Angeles motorists are the most aggressive, followed by Philadelphia and Sacramento. Atlanta and San Francisco rounded out the top 5. To determine its results, Gas Buddy analyzed speeding frequency, swift acceleration, and hard braking. And that's your CBS Money Watch report. For more, head to cbsmoneywatch.com. At the New York Stock Exchange, I'm Diane King Hall.
Diane, thank you. Let's check Wall Street at the noon hour. The Dow Industrials up 147 points. The NASDAQ up 65. The S&P 500 also up 22. Let's check in now with Q106 Farm Director Pam Yockey on this dreary Wednesday.
Yeah, but at least the temperatures are hanging on.
Right.
That was my biggest concern when that rain started moving in, is where are we going to hold the heat? I think we're so accustomed to ice. It's nice to see it stay in liquid form. A lot of Wisconsin farmers are going to start to get that itch on when they're going to be able to get out to the fields. A lot of frost still in the ground. That's going to be an issue we've got to manage through with all this water. Again, remember, farmers have a lot of cover crops out there, grassy waterways, to slow that water down, try to keep it in their yard instead of yours. That's something that they've invested in long term. Now, as far as manure and things like that, we want to keep that in place as well. So hoping that we'll be able to pause and wait for the frost to come out in the thaw. So farmers on Friday have to make a decision as far as crop insurance is concerned. We are really working without a net here, folks, because we don't have any of the enacting rules for 2018 Farm Bill in place yet. Today, Allendale Incorporated, which is a commodities brokerage firm out of Chicago, came out with their private estimates on what farmers have told them they're going to plant. Looks like we're going to see more corn acres, even though the break even is probably very, very close to going backwards there. 2 million more acres than compared to 2018. 330-some thousand fewer acres as far as soybeans, at least in these early projections. So we're going to have to wait and see. I know weather is going to have an overriding influence on what Wisconsin farmers do, but again, got to keep an eye on that bottom line too. Dairy farmers, Wisconsin milk production for the month of January went up another 3%. 5,000 fewer milk cows out there, but every one of them putting about 65 pounds of milk more in the bucket this year than she did last. Barrel cheese, 2 1/4 higher today at 142.5. 40-pound block cheese up a penny at 153. Double A butter, Mark, unchanged. Didn't hurt our 401k or retirement fund one way or the other. $2.28 a pound on this overcast Wednesday. So as I've suddenly started coining, used to say, great weather if you're a duck. In my backyard, it's great weather if you're a little Sheltie pup that wants to have mother yelling at them, because they just are digging this slippery, slaggy, mushy stuff.
It is a mess out there. So at least it's liquid, as you say.
That's right. That's right.
Could be
Look
worse.
on the positive. Look on the positive.
All right. See you later.
All right, buddy.
Here's Dave now with a look at just how much rain's coming our way.
Yeah, it definitely could be worse, Mark and Pam. If you were in Denver today, they were reporting earlier this morning heavy snow and wind gusts of 60 miles per hour as the center of the low pressure system is very close to eastern Colorado there. And we could see just how massive this beast of a storm system is. It will bring us some more rounds of rain to Madison over the next couple of days. Not looking at all that much, some light rain earlier this morning, but we've just been dealing with a lot of dense fog outside. It's been dreary, it's been gloomy, it's been a little bit damp outside. And this is the map that caught my eye this morning when I came in, because I was here last night and we still had some blues into Dane County. That's snow depth of about 1 to 3 inches. And you could see just how quickly that's melting just over the last 12 hours alone, with temperatures in the upper 30s, and we'll be near 50 on the thermometer for the next 12 to 24 hours, especially as we get into later this afternoon. So with heat like that, the snow is going to disappear very quickly. And so with that melting snow and up to about 1/2 inch to even 1 inch of rain possible in some spots, if we do get those thunderstorms to develop, we're going to see some flooding across southern Wisconsin. That is pretty much a guarantee. Now, how severe it is still a little bit up for debate. Hopefully, we just see some minor street flooding flooding, a little bit of flooding in some low-lying areas, and that's about it. But we are watching these river basins here, especially the Baraboo River, the Fox River, Sugar River, Pecatonica River as well over the next couple of days, because as this snow melts, it just doesn't have anywhere to go. The frost depth, or the ground is pretty well frozen across much of southern Wisconsin, and we have above average snowfall still on the ground for much of the area. So all that combining to create a hopefully not too severe, but definitely a situation that bears watching over the next couple of days. Platteville on our Queen Bee Radio Skycam still looking at some dense fog. The fog starting to improve a little bit in Madison on the Edgewater Skycam. Visibility up to 2 in Madison, but closer to southwestern Wisconsin, still looking at some dense fog in place. Temperatures are in the low 40s right now, but they'll be closer to 50 later this evening, and wind speeds will be gusty at times, with winds out of the south at about 10 to 20 miles per hour. So on Future Track, quickly, we can look at some additional rounds of rain. Could be some heavy downpours at times, but look at these temperatures, folks. That's the important part here. We are not anywhere close to the freezing mark until we get to Friday morning, so that could cause some flooding concerns over the next couple of days. We'll have to kind of hope for the best, as about a ½ inch of additional rainfall possible for spots like Madison over the next few days. Quick look at that 10-day forecast. We are entering the lamb portion of March, it seems, because we are really calming down by the time we get to this weekend and into next week. St. Patrick's Day is looking very nice across southern Wisconsin.
All right, keep an eye on things.
Yes.
We'll be right back. Well, Facebook says it's developing the next stop in the future of communication, a virtual reality platform that creates lifelike replicas of real people. It involves a mass collection of data, and Facebook is still facing criticism for scandals surrounding how it handles the personal information of its users. DeMarco Morgan has more.
Expression?
To create an avatar that looks, moves, and sounds like you,
Scrunch up your face really, really tight.
180 cameras and 500 lights capture your face.
That's cool.
You are.
From different angles,
Puff out your cheeks.
making all sorts of silly faces.
You are doing fantastic.
180
cameras.
Cameras. High resolution, high frame rate.
So why so many?
So the reason is because we want to be able to understand exactly how you look from every different viewpoint. Because in virtual reality, we might move and look at you from different perspectives, and it has to look as real as you do.
Yasser Sheikh directs the Facebook Reality Lab in Pittsburgh, creating these avatars.
It's an evolution from the telephone to video conferencing, and this could be the next sort of way of actually spending time with a friend you haven't met in 10 years. You can both sort of say, let's meet at the Eiffel Tower, and suddenly you materialize there.
Oh, wow.
When you put the goggles on, you see a three-dimensional version of the person you are talking to, so it feels like they are right in front of you.
Oh, this looks real.
To make it real, the scanner captures 180 gigabytes of data per second. That's less than 2 seconds to fill a typical laptop hard drive. A lot of data to give a social media platform like Facebook.
It's impossible not to ask the question, is there a dark side to this?
Peter Rubin is a senior correspondent at Wired who covers virtual and augmented reality.
It collects a lot of data about us and increasingly about the way that we look and the way that we behave and the way we react to things. It feels much more invasive than just having our web surfing monitored.
But Facebook says security is a top priority.
Any concerns about hackers?
Of course, something which I consider to be the existential threat to this kind of technology. If we're not mindful of this and develop safeguards in the system itself, it really threatens the viability of this entire medium of communication.
Facebook is still reeling from a series of massive data scandals last year, including the improper collection of 87 million users' data by a political consulting firm. All right, we have the real live version of Dave Caulfield over there. Not a virtual reality.
Yeah, this forecast is not VR either. It is the real deal as a powerful storm system moves through from the south and east. Right now, not looking at too much rain across southern Wisconsin, but some rounds of rain are possible later this afternoon into this evening. Temperatures are staying quite warm. Highs will be in the low 50s. We could be close to 60 for tomorrow.
All right, that's our time for now. Thanks for watching. We'll see you back here at 4 with an update. Have a great afternoon.